Let's say there are 4 bubbles, and I'm going to name them from poorest to richest: the dependent class, the working class, the independent class, and the wealthy. I'm going to start from farmers in the dependent class who make less than $2 a day and go all the way to wealthy people like Larry Ellison and Jeff Bezos. Let's see how people live around the world in each of these bubbles. Let's start with the dependent class. People in this tier not only work extremely hard, but they also need extra money just to survive. This woman, a hardworking farmer from Congo, is brewing traditional alcohol made from cassava that she grows on her own small piece of land. Every day, she earns about $1.80 from selling it, but that still isn't enough to feed her 8 children. Life here is harsh. Families are large, and nearly everyone depends on agriculture to survive. Their homes are built from mud bricks with no electricity or running water. Most families in Congo live in extreme poverty, and the same is true in many other African countries. There are roughly 700 million people in this dependent class, about 9% of the global population. For them, every cent counts. They live in constant survival mode, and if something unexpected happens with their health, they often have no choice but to face death. Life expectancy in these countries is among the lowest in the world, often below 60 years. Now, let's move to the next one. The working class includes a wide range of people with different incomes and salaries. About 90% of the world's population falls into this group. I'm going to look at this in 3 stages. A teacher who earns $8 a day in a middle-income country, all the way up to a US upper middle-income earner with a $120,000 salary. I want to show you the lifestyle of people at each of these income levels. I am going to pick Nepal as a middle-income country, or low middle income to be precise. This gentleman is a teacher, has a family of 6, and works in a nearby school. He is a median income earner in Nepal with a salary of $180 a month. They have a modest house, water, electricity, internet, and all necessary basic needs. They live better compared to the last class, but they still have to live on an extremely tight budget. Their food cost shouldn't exceed $80. Covering rice, lentils, vegetables, and occasional meat. If one of them gets a serious disease, they should just accept their fate. Because of that, the father has to work extra in agriculture to make room for unexpected expenses. But other than that, they can live decently. They have a roof above their head, they drink clean water, and they have access to at least an education system and basic healthcare. All the savings that they do throughout the year helps them to get at least 1 trip for a single or 2 days per year. All right, now let's up the salary and look at someone more skilled. For that, let's move a bit south to an upper middle income country. Let's choose Malaysia. This man works as a cloud engineer in Kuala Lumpur with a salary of $1,700. Bro is in tech, oh yes. He's in the top 10% of income earners in Malaysia. After taxes, that drops to about $1,450. Since he rents an apartment downtown, he spends $750 on housing. The entire comfortable apartment is just for him. He doesn't need to share a room with anyone. Public transport is cheap and reliable there. There's no need for a car, so $50 for transport. When it comes to food, he can stretch comfortably. Eats out at least 3 times a week, does his grocery shopping without hunting for discounts, and still spends around $400. That's more than double what a Nepali teacher even earns in an entire month. Healthcare costs him another $100. Gym and entertainment, add $50. That leaves him with about $100 at the end of the month. So yes, the Malaysian cloud engineer is living way better than the Nepali teacher, but he's not really saving much, with barely any room for a future family. Employment is still a must, along with strict money management, just to avoid falling to a lower level. All right, now what if he were in a high-income country like the US? Well, his salary would easily hit 6 figures. Take this man, for example. He's in tech too, working as a machine learning engineer at a local startup in Austin, Texas, making $120,000 a year. After taxes, his take-home is about $7,731 per month. This salary is well above the median American income. So, like many at this level, he's no longer renting. He owns his own home. It's a one-bedroom house, easily valued above $300,000, with a mortgage and costs putting housing a little over $3,000 a month. He's not taking public transport either. Instead, he drives his own $100,000 Lexus V8, which comes to around $2,000 a month when you include the loan, fuel, and insurance. The rest, about $1,000, goes to food, healthcare, and utilities. That still leaves him with roughly $1,500 at the end of the month, which happens to be the entire monthly salary of our man back in Malaysia. But that's not really a lot of money. If he blows it on extra stuff, he's basically no different from someone struggling. That's why I put him in the same tier as the person making $200 a month. No offense, I just don't think he's rich. Without a job, he's cooked. Everyone in this class is cooked. Employment is a must. Plus, strict money management is critical for all of them. But once you pass that 120,000 mark and enter the top 10%, you start becoming less dependent on your job. That brings me to the next third class. Now, people in this tier who make up to 300,000 begin wealth growing at a faster rate. Investing into real estate, stocks, compound interest begins to start wealth building. Employment is necessary for quite some time. And then, when net worth, not income, but net worth, passes $1 million up to $5 million, employment becomes completely optional. They can sleep well, with less things to worry about. The independent class is the ones who don't need to work to survive. They might be pensioners, equity holders, a modest royalty receiver, or simply people with enough savings to last them several years. Like this guy. He worked in finance at Goldman Sachs for 15 years as an analyst in New York. Now, with a net worth of $5 million, he owns a $1.5 million condo in Manhattan, drives an 812 and one Beamer M8. He recently joined one of the venture capital firms as a junior investor and invested into a couple of startups with equity plus moderate royalties, but still has a long way to go. Private flights, mansions, hypercars, and all that. So the independent class must still consider expenses or risk becoming working class again. The 1 to 5 million range is where you gotta be really stupid to end up poor. Well, at least that's what these guys said. I ain't no millionaire, so yes, the difference in lifestyle is huge when you're a millionaire. But from a financial security point of view, $1 million isn't what it used to be. Especially in high-income countries like the US, the EU, Australia, or Singapore. A couple of millions in these countries is like a normal dude walking down the street with no power or influence whatsoever, only in one's household. But in developing countries like the Philippines or Thailand, $5 million makes you untouchable, elite. You can buy yachts, penthouses, more power, politics, media attention, all that. It is like being a billionaire in these countries. That is global wealth inequality right there.
Here, why don't you come get it? I own this fucking thing. What are you talking about? I'm the owner. Otherwise, you're here today, gone tomorrow. A fart in the wind. That'll be fucking you.
All right, moving up to the richies. Much more than 6 figures. The wealthy class. Now we're talking. This is the hottest of them all. Welcome to the top 1%. There are over 2 million people worldwide with a net worth above $15 million, with an average age of 60. Unlike the independent class, these people never worry about money. They're absolute ballers. $1 million watches, private jets, private islands, yachts, and garages full of hypercars.
I'm going double risky. Why am I doing that? Because of the confusion in time zones. This is New York. This is LA. And people say, well, why don't you just subtract 3 hours? What? Why do that?
But realistically, $15 million won't necessarily buy them an island or a yacht. But with $15 million, they can still fly private though, rent yachts for summer vacations, and stay in $5,000 per night hotels. I mean, once you're at $15 million plus, you can easily work your way up. The annual interest alone is like $500,000 or so. Once you hit this 8 figures class, people start calling you by your first and last name. Now, for this class, everything is accessible. Wealth brings ultimate freedom and luxury. But beyond money, one thing stands out: power and influence. No one holds more of it than the 2,781 billionaires in this class. The top names, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Jeff Bezos, move markets like monopoly men. One tweet from Elon caused Netflix to lose $15 billion in market cap in a single day after he called out its woke content. Unlike other classes, instead of working 9 to 5, they create the 9 to 5s, the systems and the companies that make them even richer at a faster rate. Because of that, the top 1% now own about 45% of the world's wealth, while the bottom 80%, 6.4 billion people, together hold barely 10%. The bottom two classes hold practically nothing. Nothing to educate their children, nothing to pay for medicine. The rich are accelerating in the fast lane, while the rest are falling further behind.